particular session in the leadership in organization design, we will talk about what is the leadership is there, why is leadership important, role of leadership in organization growth, leaders role in organizational design and culture, how does leadership impact organizational structure, leadership structure and the framework, the leadership framework and the case study, research papers and book recommendations and references as usual. So, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way and shows the way. So, here we will find that is leadership is the guiding force in directing the employee in an organization is there, because the leader sets the vision and the mission of the organization and creates an environment that encourages innovation and growth. And nowadays when we are talking about the organization's success, the success of the organization that depends on that is how their leaders are innovative. The type of leadership style chosen can have a direct impact on the organization's culture and the structure is there. So, here we will find out that is a more authoritarian top down approach may lead to a highly structured hierarchical organization, while a more collaborative approach may result in a flatter and less rigid structure is there. Now, the modern organizations, they are having the leadership styles which are the more flexible, they are more open and they are more democratic style is there. If we go by this type of this leadership style, then we find that is the organizations are growing very faster. Whenever some organizations are working on the basis of this autocratic or the one sided of this leadership style and not involving their followers, then those organizations they are not becoming as successful organizations. So, leadership is very much necessary. That is the first the leader has a clear vision, that is where he wants to take to the organization. If his vision is clear, then definitely in that case he will be able to lead his employees. So, it is an ability of an individual or a group of people to influence and guide the followers or the members of an organization, society or the team are there. So, leader first and foremost condition is that he should be visionary. Second is to achieve that vision, the leader is required to develop a certain norms and goals, and therefore, they are having these followers or members they should be get influenced by the leader. He will decide the line of action to achieve that particular goal. So, therefore, a particular goal has been designed, then this design will be directed by the leader. Now, the followers will be following that particular goal. Now, here it becomes very important that the leader is able to influence. If he is able to influence these followers, then only he will be able to achieve the goal. So, leadership often is an attribute that try to a person's title, seniority or ranking in a hierarchy. Now, we have to understand difference between a leader and a manager. Manager is by virtue of position, and managerial functions are the planning, organizing, leading, directing, coordinating and controlling. So, every manager is supposed to be the leader, but every leader is not necessarily will be a manager. So, therefore, in that case it is the attribution to a person's title, seniority or ranking in the hierarchy is becoming very important, because the leadership plays a central role in the success and direction of a business is there. So, whole organization is working on the basis of the directions of that particular leader, and the leader is the responsible for achieving those organizational goals. So, organizations depend on the successful leaders to communicate to his mission, vision and goals and unite team members around those goals and then achieve them. Hard decision making is often required by the success and the evaluation of a business is there, and this decision making is making the success with the help of this business evaluation. So, business often depend on the leaders with the high these competencies and emotional intelligence to make the tough decisions and solve the problems are there. So, unless and until the leaders because they are getting the pressure from the economic pressure and the social pressures and technological pressures and legal pressures are there. So, he should be have that high competency. and with that high competency he will be able to manage all these pressures and the demands which he will be able to fulfill. However, he might be having a very scarcity of resources, and the emotional intelligence is there. So, that is the emotional intelligence means self awareness, self regulations, empathy, motivation and socialization. So, according to Daniel Goleman, this emotional intelligence, the leader should have a very high emotional intelligence is there. So, they should know about themselves, that is the what they are doing, and what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses are there. Similarly, they should be able to regulate themselves, that is whatever they are able to implement, then definitely as per the need and time they should be making this particular their influential aspect is there. Similarly, they should have the high motivation level. So, when they will have the high motivation level, they will be working on this particular issue. Now, this level of trust and success often leads to positive productive work environment, and it encourages the teamwork, employees well-being and a strong work culture that are attractive to top talent is there. So, here this is the because the leader he has to be the very positive, and when he is positive, naturally he will be able to create the more productive work environment is there. That productive work environment which the leader creates, the employees definitely they work together, the cohesiveness among employees there is a teamwork that increases, employee well-being and the happiness also the increases. So, the happiness index of an organization, it depends on the what is the how is the leadership is there. This creates a work culture, and naturally then the more and more the talented applicants they get attractive towards the organization to become the employee of such organization. So, strong leadership is critical to end the organization's competitiveness, because it drives the change and the innovations are there, and innovation is the key for success. And the best leaders keep an eye on the changing direction in their industry, promote the new ideas from within their company and bring in innovative thinkers. So, here this is becoming very important, that is the leaders what they do, they are having these encouragement of the new ideas within the company, and as a result of which they encourage more and more innovative thinkers into the organization. This role of leadership organization is the influencing the employees towards the achievement of the goal, and make them the feeling the highly motivated. Then the fulfilling the employee needs are there, that is the whatever their needs are there, maybe at the workplace for example some infrastructure, some resources are required. So, they are able to fulfill those resources. Then in the solving the internal conflicts are there. So, every place I have talked about the politics also in the organization. So, therefore, there will be the certain internal problems. So, those internal problems will be solved by the leaders. Nurturing the future leaders are there. The mentoring is also done, and developing the new leaders. So, it is not that is the it is a self-centric behavior, self-directed behavior, rather than the leadership is spread over the others also, other followers also, young followers also. Then the nurturing the future leaders and the building the moral is there. So, therefore, in that case you are creating a moral employee tasks. So, that these employees force which are highly with the high moral, they will be contributing their best into the organization, and they will be self satisfied also. Motivating the employees so to do the best. So, therefore, you identify that what is the need of the employees, and according to the need of the employees you try to motivate them. Increasing the productivity is there. So, ultimately what is the objective? Objective is the achievement of the goal of the organization. Organization's goal is the high productivity, and therefore, effectively managing change will be there, which making the better decision making. In this rapidly changing work environment, effective leadership thinks strategically, promotes engagement, focuses on accountability and delivers the results are there. So, most of which are unfortunately not taught in a business school, and so the gap must be bridged through niche management training is there. However, in recent times, most learning and development functions are the fixed on the catering to the soft skills for the leadership and managerial styles are there. It is crucial to not forget technical transformational skills organization or become the agile and withstand the turbulent work environments, and of course cultivating the right culture and people of maximum productivity and the performance is there. A race driver not knowing when to hit brakes or which turn to the take is sure to crash the car along with the passengers in it. An organization is likely to suffer the same fate without its leaders knowing which direction to go in and when to pause and take the crucial decisions are there. So, to help leaders think long term, consider the training them on the different issues. Some of these issues are, for example, the strategy. So, developing a shared vision and strategy where the goals surrounding customer segmentation, product optimization and supply chain management are shared objectively and the problem of the business heads are there. So, what leader has to do? He has to prepare the strategy, and then the strategy will be helping to achieve the goals and the customers segmentations are there. Second one is that is about the organizational design is there. So, creating the strategically the focused cross functional integrated team who do not view management issues from their individual perspectives, but rather see it as a collective problem that needs to be tackled. The train leaders to develop a organization structure that are agile and drive high performance are there. Here the organization culture is concerned, the leadership's role is creating a sense of urgency, that is shaking people out of their comfort zone to accept that there is a need for change while driving this type of the behavioral change that supports the organization health and the growth is there. So, therefore, leader has to develop this organizational design and the culture at his workplace. Organization design training can be given to the leaders on these core competence of the flexibility and designing the right job design is there. So, our flexibility creating an agile organization that can respond quickly to change and make it future proof, especially after the COVID-19 pandemic. Leaders need to rely more on the automated data down approaches to decision making and the hybrid operating models for the ultimate performance. The designing the right to job design with the proper amount of the interdependencies to minimize the cost of management and making sure it aligns with the company strategy is there. Giving autonomy to employees over the product or services to the customer, the stronger links with the customer, creating teams of the interdependent people and ensuring that the meaningful feedback is provided to the leader, and this will be giving this autonomy will be given to the employees, so that the time to time at the ground reality will be known to the leader. Working towards the eliminating the bureaucratic barriers to ensure that the fast delivery of the project and targets are there. So, here we find it is the in the organization structure, if it is a vertical and there is a lot of bureaucracy. Now, this bureaucracy will cause a delay in the decision making process. So, the eliminating these bureaucratic barriers is that is very much necessary whenever we are talking about making this the sense of this the bureaucratic process as a barrier. How does leadership impact organization structure? And organization leadership specifically impacts its ability to achieve the success as it determines the strategies, goals and values that guide the organization's operations. Leaders help shape the organization structure by using their influence to make the decisions and create an environment where employees feel motivated and empowered to do their best work. With the right leadership, organizations develop and implement the effective strategies for the success quickly. How does the leadership impact the organization structure? For example, an organization with a hierarchical structure may be led by a CEO who is responsible for making the decisions. This CEO will be responsible for setting goals, developing plans and overseeing the day-to-day operations are there. An organization with a flat structure may be led by a team of leaders who are responsible for making the decisions and leading the organization. So, here whenever we are talking about the vertical structures, then vertical structures we will find that is it is giving you the lot of the hierarchy and decentralization. But when we are talking about the flat structure, so then in that flat structure the leader has to making decisions filling the organization. So he will be there and all members will be there, and therefore in that case the leader has to ensure that is he is able to communicate to the all and let them fill in a horizontal structure, and this type of leadership allows for the more collaborative decision making processes there. So leadership structure organizations use leadership framework to articulate what is the expected of their leaders in order to drive the business successes there. In order to be the meaningful such a framework needs to be reflective of this organization culture DNA and give the people to clear sense of the how they can achieve its strategic goals. The benefit of having the such models in place to so that they provide the clarity, consistency and the common language. So all three is where they are very important and they are finding identifying the assessing and these developing the leaders helping them progress through the organization is there. So therefore in that case the leaders they are supposed to be very proactive, and then they have to ensure that is there is a series of the people those who are having the identification and these assessing and the developing is required. So leaders can be used to reinforce the current culture or the embed the change during a period of transition. The leadership framework is a set of the principles defining what managers must know and must do. So it incorporates practical essentials for managers at all levels, from the frontline managers to the middle managers and the executives. It addresses the leadership in the holistic manner at a individual, team and organizational level. So therefore it is becoming very important, that is the leadership is for the with the followers, that is a team is there, and unless and until there are not the well defined principles, they are not having these particular levels of understanding, then definitely in that case there will be more chaos will be there. The leadership framework is made up of the three key elements of effective leadership: leading people, leading yourself and leading the organization. So under each element is a set of core principles and that provide a practical guide to the managers are there. So leading the organization we will start. It involves implementing the business strategy, designing the organization, designing and maintaining productive system of work and the enable trust and the fairness is there, and this will be building the workforce capability and manage the strategic relationships are there. We have talked about the learning organization a separate session also, and there all these points that we have discussed there is unless and until that knowledge sharing culture is not there in the organization, organizations will not be learning. So it becomes very important that is knowledge sharing practices that will lead to the designing and enabling the trust and the fairness will be there, and whenever we are talking about the leadership qualities, so therefore building the workforce capability and manage the strategies relationships are there with these leaders. Leading people, the day to day requirements of the leading and the managing people is there, and they provide a safe working environment, create the effective roles and fill them with the good people. The effectively assigned assessment is there, the develop team capability and recognize the reward work, build the teamwork is there and enable the continuous improvement and lead the change is there. The third one is the leading yourself. Now you see that is the so far we have talked about the professional leadership and leaders and follower relationship, the communication in the leadership and the way of working and enhancing the capability as an employee is there. Now the question arises how your relationship with your leader is there. So therefore first and foremost is the understanding your role. What is your role is there. Once you understand your role, then definitely in that case there will be the role clarity and there are terms role ambiguity and role conflict, but there will be no role ambiguity, means you are very clear with your role, so you do not have any doubt of the any another role. So therefore there is a clarity is there. Similarly with the role conflict is there, so there should not be the role conflict when you are playing the one role, the other role should not be contradictory to that particular role. understand and respect the role of the others are there. So, it is not up to the self only, but in interpersonal dynamics, the leader follower relationship, it is very necessary, that is you understand the respect of the others also. So, manage the relationships. Once you are able to manage the relationship with the people surrounding to you, with the superior, subordinate and colleagues, you will be able to develop the important managerial leadership skills and behavior, which will be taking you to the further to the new heights. So, apply the framework is there. So, whatever the framework is there, and this framework will be helping you to understand, that is what type of the vision or leadership is there. So, here when this is the case study of the Coca-Cola. So, the Coca-Cola company is truly global and its main product is recognized and consumed worldwide. The company organizes and structures itself in a way that reflects that fact. At the same time, the company books to meet the particular needs of the organization, makes sensitivity and its structure also need to affect that particular act. This case study illustrates the way in which the company has built an organizational structure that is robust and yet also flexible enough to meet the particular requirements are there. So, the global and local strategy, the Coca-Cola company is the world's largest beverage company and is the leading producer and marketer of the soft drinks is there. The company markets 4 of the world's top 5 soft drinks brands, Coca-Cola, Diet, Coke, Fanta and Sprite is there. The success of the Coca-Cola, the company revolves around the main functions. A unique and recognized brand, Coca-Cola is among the most recognized trademarks around the globe is there, and the quality is consistently offering the consumers products of the highest quality, and therefore, it is the quality is the continuously for control. The marketing is there, where the delivering creative and innovative marketing programs and worldwide. So, therefore, in that case these are the certain skills and groups which the company should know. Now, the global availability is there. So, Coca-Cola products are the bottled and distributed worldwide. Ongoing innovation is there. So, continually providing the consumers with the new product offerings, that is Diet Coke, Coca-Cola Vanilla, and although Coca-Cola is a global product with a universal appeal, like the company actually operates in local environment around the world, with each country having as its own unique needs and the requirements are there. So, while Coca-Cola is probably the only product in the world that is the universally relevant in the every manner of the globe is concerned, the company feels that the responsibility is to ensure that with every single can or the bottle of Coca-Cola sold and enjoyed, that can only be achieved at a local level. So, therefore, here the Coca-Cola has become a very important organization. The Coca-Cola company today is therefore a continue to build an organizational structure, and that will deliver a global and a local strategy. The relationship among strategy and structures is there. An organizational strategy is the plan for the whole business, and that sets out how in the organization will be used the major resources. An organization structure is the way the pieces of the organizational fit together they normally, and therefore, in that case if it also covers the links with the external organizations such as the partners for the organization to deliver its plan, the strategy and the structure must be woven together seamlessly. The goal of the Coca-Cola company is to be the world's leading provider of the branded beverage solutions, to deliver the consistent and profitable growth and to have the highest quality products, and the processes are important. To achieve this goal, the company has established 6 strategic priorities and built these into every aspect of the business is there. So, accelerate the carbonated soft drinks growth led by the Coca-Cola and broaden the family of the products wherever appropriate. It is the bottled water, tea, coffee, juices, energy and drinks are there. Grow system profitably and capability together with the bottles. Creativity serves the customer, that is retailers, to build their business. They invest intelligently in a market growth. They drive efficiently and cost effectiveness by using technology and large scale production to control the cost is there, enabling our people to achieve the extraordinary results every day. The organizational structures need to be designed to meet the aims are there. They involve the combining the flexibility of the decision making and the sharing of the best idea across the organization with the appropriate levels of management and the control room the center. Modern organizations like the Coca-Cola company have built a flexible structure which wherever possible encourage the teamwork is there. For example, a Coca-Cola Great Britain, any new product development, example Coca-Cola vanilla, brings together terms of employees with the different specializations are there. The Coca-Cola company has a corporate head office segment that is responsible for giving the company an overall direction and providing support of the regional structure. So, the key strategic decisions at the Coca-Cola company are made by an executive committee of 12 company offices. This committee helps to shape the 6 strategic priorities set out the earlier. The chair of the executive committee acts as a figure for the company, and chairs of the executive committees act as a and then he is also the chief executive officer, and as such he is the senior decision maker. As a company whose success rests on its ability to connect with the local consumers, it makes the sense for the Coca-Cola company to be organized into a regional structural also. The company operates 5 graphical operating systems, also called the strategic business units, as well as the corporate segments. Each of these SBUs is subdivided into the divisions. And at a more local level, the management of the Coca-Cola company innovates a number of functional specializations are there, and this is the company which is having encouraging more and more the social cause support. And at a more local level, the company involves the Great Britain combines elements of the centralization and the decentralization. Important aspect of culture at Coca-Cola is the Great Britain, which affects the culture of the Coca-Cola company as a whole roller, as an emphasis on teamwork and the empowerment is there. Coca-Cola Great Britain sets the employees as its most having these important asset. The motivated employees provide the engine that drives the company growth, organizing people into the terms that is the marketing, sales and product terms that encourages people to feel valued. Within a team, they are encouraged to contribute ideas and to be innovative. If they feel that is something could be done better, they are encouraged to be work that opinion. So, by creating a friendly innovative culture, Coca-Cola creates a Britain is able to depend on a high quality workforce that helps it to maintain the brand leadership a Great Britain and many other in every other market in which it operates. So, true is at the heart of the relationship where it will be, that is the customers and the consumers trust that the company will provide the highest level of service and attention to the both the needs. So, bottling partners trust that the company is operating in the best interest of the Coca-Cola system. Employees trust that their contribution is being valued in an open culture. So, open communication channels provide the means to support a culture based on the relationship. So, Coca-Cola has a number of communication channels including monthly leadership, team building, involvement of the functional head, weekly departmental team meetings, open employees team briefing sessions, consultative employee groups for each region with a representative meeting in a European Council, and surveys to monitor employees views and the feelings are there. So, finally, we can conclude that the Coca-Cola company has built the internal and external structures to support the delivery of its business goals. The regional structure is the best way of supporting the growth, allowing attention to the local requirements while at the same time building at a clear strategic direction, and the center is there. A culture of innovation, teamwork and partnership means that the company has a firm foundation of relationship and the open communication channels on which to build its growth is there. This is a research paper The organization of the integrated communication towards flexible integration. The purpose of this paper is to alert the paper to the urgent need to address the most pressing challenge and opportunity of the 21st century, namely the leadership that enables the flourishing for all forever. So, please go through this in the detailing the functions of this particular research paper, and then you will find that is how the leadership that develops the mindsets for the effective performance of the organization. This is the book Leadership in Organizations that is by the Gary Eichel and the Pearson Education 19 edition 20 September 2019 edition is there, and in this book you will find that it is a primary focus on the managerial leadership, and presents a broad survey of theory and research on the leadership in formal organizations. Contains topics that are determinants of the efficient and effective leadership. Case studies pertaining to Indian as well as the global context. Tata Sons and the Infosys talk of the value based and ethical leadership in the Indian context, while a day in the life of a global leader reflects the cross cultural diversity in the leadership in the global scenario is there. These are the references which you can refer for further going into the details, and you will find that is the you are able to know more about that is how the communication process in the organization and the leadership is playing a very important role. Thank you.